Welcome back, everybody. Last week you saw I was trying to get my UV slider out to 100 yards, and so today I'm going to install a new drawboard, and we're going to swap out these old Gasbowstrings for a fresh new set of Gasbowstrings, and then we're going to take the UV slider out next week. I'm going to give you a full detailed video on how to sight in your ultra view slider and make sure that we can get out to 100 yards with my Total Archery arrow setup for this year. So let's go ahead and get the bow in the press and let's get started. Alright, the drawboard is in, so we're going to put the bow in the press, and wasn't too bad of fits. I knew from what I read online that with this particular off-brand, it might be a tight fit on the Easy Green, but that it would fit for the LCA, so we made it fit. We're going to get the bow in the press, and we're going to get these strings off and a new fresh set on. And the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the main string. You want to make sure that when you take it off that you don't lose any twists, especially if you're going to save these strings as a backup. Next thing that you're going to do is you're going to open up your brand new set of Gasbowstrings and pull out your new main string. You can use this new paper clip on your old set of strings. You're going to see this little string on your new main string. That's your split. Marks the middle of your string. You're going to need to know where that's at later to install your Peep. So the next thing that we're going to do is remove these cables. In order to take off the cables, we need to remove this roller guard. So the next thing we're going to do is take that off. If you've never ever swapped your strings and your cables before, then I highly recommend that you take some pictures before you remove the cables. Before you even remove the roller guide. On the Matthews, the yoke and the cable on the bottom cam is going to run on the inside of the roller guide, and the yoke and the cable on the top cam is going to run on the outside of the roller guide. And your roller guide only comes out one way. You're going to insert the large end on the inside. Like I said, if you think it will help you, if it's the first time you've ever done this and you really want to learn how to work on your equipment, then I highly recommend you take some pictures of your cables and your strings before you remove anything. But we're going to go ahead and take these off. Okay, so this next step, it doesn't really matter if you start on bottom or top cam. You're going to remove this cable from the post. And to remove that cable from your yoke splitter, you are going to run it back through itself. The next thing that we're going to do is remove this little splitter or puck from our yoke. In order to remove the yoke, we're going to need to take the axle out. Use the same Allen wrench that you use to remove the screw. Just make sure you don't lose the screw in the washer to pop the axle out, and then we can remove the cam. So make sure you set that someplace where you're not going to lose it. And then we can just pop this cam off. Then we should be able to just remove the cam and take off the yoke. Again, if you're saving your strings, make sure that you clip those together. So after a small panic attack, I took the bow out of the press because I thought that I had a crack in my limb. And I wasn't sure if it was caused by uneven pressure or if it was just a crack that I had missed. So after a little damage assessment and the help of a friend, we have determined panic attack for no reason. It is just a scratch. So got it back in the press. Everything seems to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and get the last cable off by removing the cable from the peg, the cable from the splitter, removing the axle, removing the yokes, and get the new set on and be done for the night. You're gonna put your cable through the splitter or into the puck, whatever you want to call it. Then put the stiff end through. Again, not losing any twists. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Don't know if you could see any of that because it was a real pain in the butt. I'm gonna pop this cable back into this roller guard and tighten that back down. So the new string is on tomorrow. I'm gonna tie on a D-loop, get my Peep installed. We're gonna check the poundage, send it through paper, and just make sure that she's still giving us what we need to get to 100 yards. And I think it turned out pretty good. So got the strings on last night, and a couple things we have left to do are gonna be to tie on our D-loop, insert our Peep, and shoot it through paper just to check it, tune it a little bit. And we'll take it out tomorrow and get her sighted in before Tennessee Tech. D-loop material, and we're going to take a lighter and we're going to fray the end of it. So it kind of looks like that, and then we're going to take our lighter and we're going to burn the end of it. So after you've burned your D-loop, you should have a little ball on the end, kind of like that. Now that I have marked where my arrow is level with my burger hole, I'm going to put the tag ends behind the string with the burnt end on top, and then put the tag ends back through themselves. I'm going to pull the end that we didn't burn. Through the bottom half of our D-loop, we're going to go behind the string, and then through the loop that we've created, pull that. Then we're going to go in front of the main string and back through, around behind, and back through the loop that's created. Fray and melt that piece just like the other end. Keep this fire away from your string. I need a set of D-loop pliers to finish the job. I'm going to check the draw weight. And the old set, I'm expecting it might pull a little bit more than before since those strings were stretched out a little bit. My Peep out of my old set of strings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from my old D-loop to my Peep, so I have a rough estimate of where to put my Peep on my new set of strings after I put it in the press. I bring it up just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, this is not a professional video on how to tie in your Peep. I am using the method that Levi Morgan is using, going in through the opening of the Peep and pulling that tight. The timing actually looks really good. Top's touching, bottom's touching. Looks like a good even pressure. So I'll let the drawboard down and send one through paper, and we're ready to side her in. Where our tip went through and where our vein is, looks like a little knock low, a little knock right. Slight right tear, so I'm going to I'm just going to do a little yoke tuning to try and bring that tear back to the left. You can see that between the last tear, where we were slightly knock right, that little twist to the yoke brought us back center shot, and now we're just slightly knock low. Slightly raise the rest up. Put about a quarter turn in there, and then lock it back down.